You're listening to the Dibbly Dobbly Podcast. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and click the bell to make sure you get the latest episodes of the podcast. Be sure to like and share our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter. Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Dibbly Dobbly Podcast. On today's episode of the podcast, we review the first test between England and India from Trent Bridge. It's the Dibbly Dobbly Podcast, and let's get started. Let's have a look at the match summary from the first test match between England and India from Trent Bridge. England batted first and made 183 all out in their first innings. Joe Root top scored with 64. Jasprit Bumrah took 4 wickets for India. India, in reply, all out for 278. KL Rahul top scored with 84. Ollie Robinson took 5 wickets for England. England, in their second innings, all out for 303. Joe Root top scored with 109. Jasprit Bumrah took 5 wickets for India. India needed 209 runs to win. They finished on 1 for 52. KL Rahul top scored with 26. And Stuart Broad took 1 wicket for England. The match was drawn and Joe Root was named man of the match. What were the key moments and key factors from this first test match between England and India? India's bowling dismissing England for 183 in the first innings after losing the toss. England's bowling dismissing India for 278 in the first innings to keep India to a lead of 95 runs in the first innings. Joe Root's century in England's second innings, which saw England set India 209 runs to win. India needing 209 runs to win on the last day. It was set up to be an exciting finish until the rain spoiled the party, as usual in England. Those were the key moments and key factors from this first test match at Trent Bridge. Let's have a look at both teams' performances in this first test match at Trent Bridge. We'll start with England and their batsmen. Burns, 0 and 18. Sibley, 18 and 28. Crawley, 27 and 6. Root, 64 and 109. Bairstow, 29 and 30. Lawrence, 0 and 25. Butler, 0 and 17. That's how the England batsmen performed in this first test match. It was a poor display of batting again from England. Yet again, another batting collapse from England in their first innings. No surprise there. Wouldn't be England without a batting collapse. Winning the toss was a good opportunity for England to post a big score and really put India under some pressure in this first test match of a big 5-game series. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be. They were bowled out for 183 in their first innings after winning the toss. Joe Root would have been too pleased as captain after that poor display of batting from his team. Bairstow and Root added 72 for the 4th wicket in England's first innings, which got them to that 183 score. If that partnership didn't happen, they would have been bowled out for a lot less. Maybe 150, maybe 140, something like that. Yet again, Burns, Sibley, Crawley and Lawrence. We're talking about them again. They struggled in this test match and it wasn't great viewing. Joe Root, yet again, was the shining light of England's batting in this test match with a wonderful century in the second innings, which pretty much got England back into this game, along with England's bowling. His innings of 109 and England's bowling pretty much got England back into this first test match. Without his innings, it could have been a lot worse for England, and it could have been. His innings saw England set India 209 runs to win. Unfortunately, the last day was washed out, so India weren't able to chase those runs in the end because the rain spoiled the party, as it always does in England. But going back to Burns, Sibley, Crawley and Lawrence, yet again, they're in the firing line. They're under pressure, definitely under pressure now. It was an opportunity for Burns, Sibley, Crawley, Lawrence to stand up and show people that they are made for Test cricket. Now, having a look at their runs in the calendar year, it doesn't make for great viewing. Lawrence, 354 runs at an average of 27. Sibley, 345 runs at an average of 21. Burns, 314 at an average of 31 with 1 century. And Zach Crawley, 156 runs at an average of 11. So that's not great from those batsmen in terms of their calendar year runs in test matches. It just shows you, and it sort of reflects where they are at in terms of their form and their mindset and their thinking. Obviously, unfortunately, they didn't score runs in this test match, so their spots are under pressure now. I think the second test match at Lord's could be their last chance in test cricket. If they don't perform at Lord's, Burns, Sibley, Crawley and Lawrence, that could be it for their England career. And England may go somewhere else in terms of their batting. Because if England are serious about winning this series against India and potentially the Ashes later on this year, that's a long way off. The Ashes, obviously, they don't start until the end of the year. But if they are serious about winning these two series in particular, they've got to change something. They've got to change their batting personnel. How many chances do you give to Burns, Sibley, Crawley, Lawrence, Pope, who didn't play this test match because he was injured? How many chances are you going to give them? And you've got to look somewhere else. So I think the second test match at Lord's for Burns, Sibley, Crawley, Lawrence in particular is going to be the last chance for them to really prove to everyone that they are a valuable asset in this England team in terms of the batting unit. If they don't score runs at Lord's, that could be the end of their career. Obviously, England named this squad for the first two test matches, and they could be out of the squad for the next three test matches when England renamed their squad for those remaining test matches of this series. So, for Burns, Sibley, Crawley, Lawrence in particular, they really need to stand up and score runs. Otherwise, they could be out of the side. So, overall, England's batting was quite poor. Not a lot of positives to talk about their batting. The one positive, as I mentioned before, was Joe Root. That was it. The rest pretty much failed, and it was another batting collapse, another poor performance with the bat. They've got to be better than that, England. They've got to bat better. They've got to look to improve and look to get better. Let's have a look at their bowling performance in this test match. Curran took no wickets, 5 wickets for Robinson, a wicket for Broad, and 4 wickets for Anderson. I thought their bowling was good, England. The other positive about England in this test match, besides Joe Root in the second innings by his century, was their bowling. I thought they bowled well to bowl India out for 278 after they batted so poorly. Anderson and Robinson did most of the damage in the first innings. Curran and Broad in particular didn't do much work with the ball. They bowled okay, but without luck. But it was mainly Anderson and Robinson doing all the damage. James Anderson, what can we say about him? Getting better with age. He's 39 years old. He's now in third place in the all-time leading wicket takers list in Test cricket. Surpassed Anil Kumble 619 in this first Test match here at Trent Bridge. Took the consecutive wickets of Pujara and Kohli, which pretty much turned the match back into England's favour. And along with Ollie Robinson, he supported Anderson quite well. Bowling well, taking his first ever 5-wicket haul in test matches, taking 5 for 85. The future looking bright for England with Robinson, the potential successor to Anderson and Broad when they do retire. So the future definitely looking bright for Ollie Robinson. He's had a tough few months and weeks, as we all know, but it's good to see him get back on the park again and let the ball do the talking and show people what sort of talent and skills he does have. And he's very talented. So great to see him doing well. They bowled good lines and lengths. They were consistent in their plans and their lines and lengths in conditions that suited England, overhead conditions, grass on the pitch. England are always going to exploit these conditions to their advantage. Really good effort after another poor display from the batting unit. Overall, England will be happy to get out of this test match with a draw. Could have been a different result if the rain didn't spoil things. Lots of work to do for England to win this series. Let's have a look at India's team performance in this first test match at Trent Bridge. We'll start with their batsmen. Rohit Sharma, 36 and 12 not out. Rahul, 84 and 26. Pujara, 4 and 12 not out. Kohli, 0. Rahane, 5. Pant, 25. And Jadeja, 56. That's how India performed in this first test match with the bat. I thought it was an okay batting performance from India in this test match. I thought they batted well in the first innings up until they had that batting collapse where they lost a couple of wickets in successive deliveries in terms of Pujara and Kohli getting out to Anderson. But I thought before that batting collapse, I thought Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul batted well, 97 for the first wicket, and looked comfortable at the crease. Both of them looked comfortable at the crease. They were sort of making it look easy for a while there until Rohit Sharma got out. Then it started to fall away a bit for India. They lost Pujara for 4, caught by Butler off Anderson. Kohli gone for a golden duck, caught by Butler off Anderson in successive balls, and obviously got India sort of on the back foot there, and obviously England was sort of bouncing back and looking to get back into the test match, which they did. KL Rahul's partnership with Jadeja got India back on track with a 60-run partnership for the 6th wicket, got them to that 278 score, which gave them a lead of 95 runs. They would have liked more runs in terms of the lead, but I thought that was a good fight back after losing those quick wickets. It was a very good fight back from Rahul and Jadeja to get India a lead of 95 runs and get them to that 278 score. Now, India's batting will be important in this series against England. They need to stop these batting collapses from happening in the future, need to score runs and put England under pressure with their weak batting lineup. Pujara, Kohli, Rahane are all struggling at the moment. They haven't been in the best of form, but they need to stand up and score runs for India. If they can do that, then India will be in a good position to win this series. India had the opportunity of batting England out of this game completely. They didn't quite grab that opportunity. After the great start of Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul, 97 for the first wicket, everyone thought India were going to run away with this test match. Bat England out of the game, that's the test match done and dusted. They didn't grab this opportunity. Now, if conditions are similar to what we saw at Trent Bridge in the future test matches of this series, then India have to grab these moments and opportunities where they have the opportunity to bat England out of the game. They need to do that. They need to grab these opportunities because you can't let these opportunities slip. And it was a golden opportunity for them to really put some pressure on England in the first test match of the series. Unfortunately, they didn't quite do that with the batting collapse and the loss of wickets. They weren't able to capitalize on that opportunity. So that's what they need to do going forward, is to really seize these opportunities and make sure they grab them with both hands and really put England under pressure with their batting. But I thought overall India's batting was okay. There's a lot of areas to improve on, but that's what the game of cricket's about. It's about looking at your past experiences, looking to get better and improve heading forward for the rest of the series. So for India, that's what they need to do. They need to look at this performance at Trent Bridge with the bat. Obviously, look at a few areas to improve on, and going forward for the rest of the series, hopefully they can implement those improvements and hopefully win some test matches in this series. Let's have a look at their bowlers and talk about their performance in this first test match. Jadeja, no wickets. Thakur, 4 wickets. Shami, 4 wickets. Bumrah, 9 wickets. And Siraj, 3 wickets. I thought India bowled much better than they did in the WTC final in this first test match against England. It was a much better bowling display. They bowled well in England's first innings after losing the toss. To bowl England out for 183 was a good effort from the bowlers. Jasprit Bumrah, back to his best. He didn't bowl well in the WTC final, but he was able to take 5 wickets in the second innings and really show what he can do with the ball. And he definitely bounced back superbly. Mohammad Shami and Mohammad Siraj bowled well, taking wickets and supporting him. Jadeja didn't take any wickets at all, but Trent Bridge is not noted for its spin, but he did play his part with the bat mainly in this test match in India's first innings with that partnership with KL Rahul. So overall, their bowling was good, India. Good signs for the rest of the series. Their bowlers are taking wickets. Their bowlers look threatening in these conditions. So that's really good signs going forward. Overall, India will be pleased with their performance in this first test. They just need to stop the batting collapses from happening. Good signs with the bowlers bouncing back after the WTC final. Let's preview the second test of the series between England and India from Lords, talk about the potential 11s for both teams and who's going to win this second test at Lords. So the test record at Lords between England and India, the first test match was played here in 1932 between these two countries. They've played 18 matches here at Lords. 4 of them have been drawn. England have won 12 and India have won 2 of those test matches. Let's have a look at both teams' potential 11s for the second test at Lords. We'll start with England. Burns, Sibley, Hamid, Root, Bairstow, Pope, Butler, Sam Curran, Robinson, Broad and Anderson. I think England may make 2 changes to their 11 for the second test match at Lords. I think Zach Crawley and Dan Lawrence will miss out, and I think Hamid and Ollie Pope, if he's fit, will come into the side. It's about time England need to start making some changes to their batting lineup. You've got to draw the line somewhere. Crawley and Lawrence haven't been producing for a while now. It's not a bad option for England to try Hamid and Ollie Pope, give him another opportunity. He's been playing poorly as well, but give him another opportunity to see if he can score runs here in this second test match. So that could be the potential 11 for England in this second test match. Let's have a look at India's potential 11 for this second test match. Rohit Sharma, Rahul, Pujara, Kohli, Rahane, Pant, Jadeja, Thakur, Shami, Bumrah and Siraj. I think India will keep the same 11. I don't think there's no need to make any massive changes after the first test match. If they lost the first test match at Trent Bridge, they would have made some changes to their team. But seeing that the first test match was a draw and they didn't really lose the test match, there's no need to make any changes at all. It's very important to keep that cohesion within the team. So that could be India's potential 11 for the second test match at Lords. Who's going to win this second test match at Lords? I think India are going to win this second test at Lords because India, to me, are the strongest team in this series. If they can repeat what they did in 2014 when they won here at Lords by scoring runs and taking wickets, they should win this second test match at Lords. What can we expect from both teams heading into the second test at Lords? Both teams will be determined to get a result in this second test at Lords. Let's hope the weather plays its part. England will be worried about their batting and they will be determined to improve their batting in this second test. India will be looking to improve from the first test at Trent Bridge and hope to repeat their epic win at Lords in 2014 as they seek a series lead. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell to get the latest episodes of the podcast, and like and share our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter. Until next time, keep safe and bye for now.